This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 943, How to Manage Your Mental Health While Side Hustling, by Daniella of I Like to Dabble.com. And I'm Dan, I am your host here, and welcome to this Monday edition of Optimal Startup Daily, where I read to you each and every day from some of the best business and entrepreneurship blogs around. And let's get right to our post now as we start out the week and start optimizing your life. How to Manage Your Mental Health While Side Hustling, by Daniella of I Like to Dabble.com. Side hustles can be a great source of extra income to help you fund your goals, but they do come with their caveats. Without taking care of yourself, you can experience burnout from your side hustles. Side hustle burnout is when you're unable to continue your side hustle because your mental health cannot sustain it anymore. No one wants that to happen, even though it can be hard to avoid. So what do you do to prevent it? Stay organized. Staying organized is the biggest hack I have for limiting mental stress. When you're organized, you know exactly what's happening in your side hustle. Running a side hustle is very similar to running a small business. That's because your side hustle is a business, and you'll have to get used to running it like one. At the beginning, this can be difficult to wrap your head around. You'll need systems in place to ensure that you're doing things correctly. Setting aside money for taxes, paying contractors, preparing inventory, schmoozing with clients. All of these things require you to have systems in place. Staying organized is easier said than done, especially if you struggle with ADHD, bipolar, or are neurodivergent. People can tell us all day to stay organized, and it means nothing to us. One-size-fits-all type of solutions for organization also never tend to help us much. Something that helped me stay organized when starting out was keeping all of my documents in one place, like Google Drive, and setting up calendar reminders for things like tax payments, sending invoices, and sending invoice reminders. I even set calendar reminders to get up and take a break to do something I enjoy, like a midday run. I also try to automate as much as I can to make sure I don't add additional stress to my work days, because those extra manual business admin tasks can sometimes send me into a headspin. Using various tools to keep my business organized was a huge help. Know that you aren't an imposter. Thinking that we are imposters in our side hustles can really mess with our mental health. It can make us second-guess ourselves, hold ourselves back, and can even make us give up on our side businesses altogether. I hate the term imposter syndrome. I think it's a complete lie. None of us are imposters. If you like to write and are just getting started as a freelance writer, guess what? You're a writer. You don't have to be a novelist to be considered a writer. You don't even have to be getting paid as a writer to be a writer. All you actually have to do to be a writer is write. I don't care what you write. You are a writer. The term imposter syndrome is a term that we use to describe something completely different than what an imposter actually is. What is actually happening when we say we have imposter syndrome is us describing our uncomfortability in trying to fit into society in a new way that isn't the status quo. Or, better put, society's uncomfortability with us knowing our own power. By saying that we are imposters, it's another way for us to sell ourselves short yet again. You're not an imposter. You are enough. You are more than enough. You're a force to be reckoned with. Show them what you've got. Reduce financial stress by saving an emergency fund and using extra income to pay down debt. If you find yourself burdened by constant financial stress in your side hustle, start setting up some systems of protection, like an emergency fund. You can even set up an emergency fund for your personal finances and another emergency fund for your side business finances. If you have debt that you're working to pay down with your side hustle and are stressed that you can't seem to pay it down as quickly as you'd like, keep going. Debt will take a long time to chip away at, but what's important to remember is you're doing your best, and in time, it will all pay off. I loved gamifying my own debt payoff with color and trackers to make it fun, and it helped me to feel better and remind myself I was at least on track. Create strong boundaries to avoid burnout. Creating strong boundaries to avoid burnout is the number one thing you can do to help your side hustle thrive. Boundaries keep you from being overwhelmed with your side hustle. Overwhelm from side hustles can come from all angles, even remote side hustles too. You can take on too many clients, not be organized enough with your work, or try to grow too quickly. Having boundaries within yourself will help you from stumbling into these areas. Overwhelm can also come from external pressures. You have a million things to do and not enough time to do it in. You work too hard on your side hustle. You say yes to everything. boundaries will protect you from these types of pitfalls. How to set good boundaries. 1. Learn to say no. No is the key to establishing boundaries. And no is a complete sentence, but that doesn't mean it has to be. You can say things like, "Unfortunately, I don't have the capacity for this." Or, "Thanks for the offer, but I can't do that right now." Learning these simple phrases will take you a long way in your side hustle journey. 2. Practice. Practice your boundaries with people who will respect them. Start by saying no to small things, and then leveraging up to larger no's. It's easy to say no, you don't want coffee this morning. It's harder to say no to low-paying work when you're short on cash. And 3. Celebrate when you set boundaries. When I first started setting boundaries with my side hustle, I was terrible with it. Horrible, no good, super bad. But I started sending my friend a text when I would set them. "Look what I did," I'd say, and we'd celebrate. This helped me rewrite my brain into thinking boundaries were good and needed. Now I have no problem setting them. Practice self-care to protect your mental health. Self-care is huge when you're side hustling to protect your mental health. We often think of self-care as spoiling ourselves, but it's so much more than that. Self-care is ensuring that your basic needs are met. Those basic needs have a pervasive foundation to how we're feeling about ourselves. If you're not brushing your teeth and washing your face, you're not going to feel good about side hustles. If you have meds, you need to be taking them. Have regular doctor's appointments? Go to them. All these small things add up to make a huge difference. Sometimes basic care isn't enough. You might need to pick up a meditative practice, like yoga, or something more aerobic, like kickboxing or running, my preferred stress reliever. And even further, consider therapy to help manage your mental health if it gets really rough. Talkspace is this amazing site where you can get matched to an online therapist for much cheaper than seeing a therapist in person, and more convenient. There's nothing shameful about therapy. In fact, I've been in and out of therapy for a decade, and I know and love myself more because of it. The bottom line is this: taking care of yourself is taking care of the business. You can't forego the first and master the second. You just listened to the post titled, "How to Manage Your Mental Health While Side Hustling" by Daniella of ILikeToDabble.com. The thing about running your own business is every single hire counts. But finding great talent doesn't have to be a second job. You can reclaim your time and find top talent fast with Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform helping over 3 million businesses worldwide to do it all. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates. Over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates the moment they sponsor a job. Now, I especially love Indeed's Instant Match feature because candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/startup to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/startup. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
When you save on auto insurance for driving safe with USAA Safe Pilot, you'll feel like a big deal, even in a traffic jam. Save up to 30% with USAA Safe Pilot. Restrictions apply.
And thank you so much to Daniella. This was actually her first post here on OST, but you might have heard her narrated more frequently over on our finance show, Optimal Finance Daily. Daniella is a software engineer and sidepreneur who has gone from 0 to 12 income streams in 4 years, paid off $40,000 of debt in the process, and moved 2,100 miles cross-country with her wife Alexandra to live in their dream location. Before that, she was going through back-to-back layoffs, she had no savings, and was living paycheck to paycheck. Now she teaches thousands of others how to start and grow their own side hustles and businesses, get their money right, find remote work that aligns with what they really want to do, and live their best life. So come on by ILikeToDabble.com to learn a lot more and see great content, and thanks so much again to Daniella for letting us share her work. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. I thank you as always for being here with me and for clicking subscribe or follow in whatever podcast app you use. And I hope you'll be right back here with me tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.